All right, it's Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, and Donald Trump staying on offense, moving to dismantle the Department of Education after successfully shuttering the belly of the beast, USAID, ending what some are calling the largest pit of waste, fraud, and abuse in D.C. Also, the swamp of Washington, D.C., fighting back, showing their faces, coming to the surface to demand the gravy train not stop, deciding Trump's too powerful. Their attacks falling on deaf ears, so the next best thing is to target Elon Musk. Take out Elon, and Trump becomes vulnerable. We're going to explain what's happening, and is a major peace deal about to be brokered in Ukraine? That's what we're hearing. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. Dozens of high-ranking officers at the Department of Education say they were just placed on leave, told to stay home after they refused to adhere to the president's executive order banning DEI in the federal government. And this is only the tip of the iceberg for what the Trump administration has planned for the Department of Education. The White House counsel's office, with top Trump advisors, are mulling an executive order to immediately dismantle the department completely. The plan includes Elon Musk taking lead, using his Doge team to halt payments to the department if necessary. The Department of Education's like one giant money pit. Trump campaigned on shutting it down, saying it's used by the Dem Party to indoctrinate our youth. It was created in 1979 by none other than President Jimmy Carter. This department works hand in glove with the largest teachers union in the country. It's used as a political vehicle for Dem control. This year, its budget is a whopping $79 billion. $79 billion. It's pointless. School curriculum should be handled on the local level. The Wall Street Journal reporting yesterday that Trump and his team are discussing an executive order that could immediately shut key functions at the agency. Trump administration officials are weighing executive actions to dismantle the education department as part of the campaign by billionaire Elon Musk and his allies to shrink federal agencies and slash the size of the government workforce. Last week, Thomas Massie, one of our favorite congressmen, introduced a bill to abolish the education department by 2026. Well, we won't have to wait that long. From what I understand, Trump wants to do this ASAP. The only thing he's waiting on is whether to do it before or after his education secretary, Linda McMahon, is confirmed by the Senate. Yesterday, Elon held a Spaces telling listeners that he checked with the president multiple times before shuttering USAID, saying, "I called President Trump multiple times just to double and triple check. He wants it completely shut down." He said, "Yes, shut it down." Well, USAID, as we reported yesterday and Sunday, is the belly of the beast, appears to have been used by the Biden administration to funnel billions in U.S. tax dollars to these crazy Dem projects.
And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look, because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
And it gets even worse, because what they would do is appoint their apparatchiks atop these NGOs and think tanks and nonprofits, and then approve grants from USAID to said nonprofits. People like Bill Kristol, of all people, were being paid indirectly, it appears, from USAID. This is how the swamp of DC works, folks, how they've been sucking money from the U.S. tax base and lining their own pockets. Watch.
You're now the head of USAID. The head of Doge, Elon Musk, called USAID a criminal organization and added that it is time for it to die. Do you agree with that?
They have basically evolved into an agency that believes that they're not even a U.S. government agency. that they are a global charity, that they take the taxpayer money and they spend it as a global charity, irrespective of whether it is in the national interest or not in the national interest. One of the most common complaints you will get if you go to embassies around the world from State Department officials and ambassadors and the like is USAID is not only not cooperative, they undermine the work that we're doing in that country. They are supporting programs that upset the host government for whom we're trying to work with on a broader scale and so forth. So they're completely unresponsive. They just don't consider that they work for the U.S. They just think they're a global entity and that their master is the globe and not the United States. And that's not what the statute says, and that's not sustainable.
Can it be reformed, or does it need to die?
Well, that was always the goal, was to reform it. But now we have rank insubordination. Now we have basically an active effort where their basic attitude is, we don't work for anyone. We work for ourselves. No agency of government can tell us what to do. So the president made me the acting administrator. I've delegated that power to someone who's there full time, and we're going to go through the same process at USAID as we're going through now at the State Department. I think there are some, this is not about getting rid of foreign aid. There are things that we do through USAID that we should continue to do that makes sense. And we'll have to decide, is that better through the State Department or is that better through something, a reformed USAID? That's the process we're working through. There are things that are happening at USAID that we should not be involved in funding, or that we have a lot of questions about. But they're completely uncooperative. So we had no choice but to take dramatic steps to bring this thing under control.
It's why anyone you see screaming about DOJ shutting USAID down is fighting on behalf of this corrupt system. And they are fighting. They are freaking out. Watch as they made themselves known yesterday, came out in the open to protest in front of USAID's headquarters in D.C. And notice they aren't really complaining about Trump anymore. They aren't screaming about the president. They've now turned their focus to Elon completely, figuring out the president's just too powerful, his support too strong, immune from their attacks. To attack Trump, we need to go after Elon Musk. Watch.
Elon Musk, you didn't create USAID. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create USAID, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him. Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that under Article 1 of the Constitution. And just like the president, who is elected to something, cannot impound the money of the people, we don't have a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk. And that's going to become real clear.
Dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed. Which, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV. Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't do their homework. Clearly, they're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. This dude is not smart. And the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise that Elon has. I mean, this guy is one of the most morally vacant, but also just least knowledgeable about these systems that we really know of.
In another story, there are rumblings and mumblings coming out of the Trump administration that we're about to see something big go down in Mexico. Signal intelligence has been picking up U.S. Air Force spy planes flying runs over cartel strongholds in Baja California. The section of Baja California they've been flying over in southern Baja. These specific regions are strongholds for the heavily armed Sinaloa cartels and Tijuana cartel. This comes after new SecDef Pete Hegseth warned all options are on the table in our effort to dismantle and abolish the cartels. A very well-known signal intelligence X account posted yesterday, for the first time I've ever seen a U.S. Air Force RC-135V Rivet Joint Signals Intel platform from Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska operating within Mexican airspace over the Gulf of California between Baja California Sur, Sonora, and Sinaloa. Let me know in the comments if you support U.S. drone strikes on cartel positions in Mexico, or about sending special operators into these cartel strongholds, the same way we do with Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra in Iraq and Syria. I support it. In another story, great news out of the Senate this morning. RFK Jr. advances to a full Senate vote as Trump's nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services. After the Senate Finance Committee voted this morning, the vote was along party lines, which means all Republicans on the committee voted to send RFK Jr.'s nomination to a full Senate vote. Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican from Louisiana, one of the holdouts, voted yes on RFK, even after publicly raising concerns about him running the largest federal department. HHS is the largest federal department in all of government, almost double the Pentagon's budget. It's crazy. Senator Cassidy posted on X this morning that he had very intense conversations with Bobby and the White House over the weekend and even this morning, but with the serious commitments I've received from the administration and the opportunity to make progress on healthy foods and a pro-American agenda, I will vote yes. Amen. This is great news. And if Bobby gets confirmed, it says a whole lot more about Trump's influence than RFK's. It would mean Trump is the most powerful president we've ever seen. In another story, peace could be about to break out in Europe as President Trump has successfully pushed Ukraine and Russia to the negotiating table. Both of these countries' presidents confirmed this week they are ready to negotiate and end this war. President Putin committed to peace talks last week. Really, they were waiting on Zelensky to get with the program. Zelensky has been the largest detriment to peace this whole time. Apparently, shutting and halting USAID yesterday was the last straw. That is the organization, it turns out, that's been paying for Ukraine to rebuild their critical infrastructure. Each time Russia would destroy critical infrastructure in Ukraine, USAID would send money to repair or rebuild it. Many times, this money would go to a US-based company, a giant money laundering system, it seems. Watch as Zelensky admits Ukraine received only a fraction of the US dollars Congress appropriated. What? Where'd the money go?
Дивіться, я коли чую, і раніше чув, і сьогодні ми чуємо від Сполучених Штатів Америки, що Америка дала Україні сотні мільярдів, 177, якщо сказати більш точно. Така звучала точна цифра, яку підтримували або голосував Конгрес, тощо різні організації. Дивіться, я як президент воюючої країни вам говорю, ми отримали більше 75. Тобто 100 мільярдів з цих 177 або 200, говорять навіть деякі люди, ми ніколи не отримували. І це важливо.
All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.